You know what institution is more powerful than the media? The presidency. The other really horrific thing that we have seen unfold over the past couple of weeks is the scapegoating of the media, when you know what institution is more powerful than the media? The presidency. Because I'm not really on Twitter anymore. I'm not really a social media girl anymore, but people will send me stuff. I have seen tweets that said, where people said, CNN is worse than Fox News. The New York Times is worse than Fox News. You guys, come on. Does that make sense? Partisan politics in the United States is so broken. I think hyperpartisanship is a reflection of something really sad and dark in American culture. And for years, we were able to delude ourselves into thinking that that brokenness was particular to the right. Like, we just thought the people whose brains are broken in that specific way, they vote Trump. They go for Marine Le Pen. They vote for Giorgia Meloni. They vote for Viktor Orban or Bolsonaro. But it turns out that that's not true. That Joe Biden could be at a rally in Detroit and point to the media and say, "This is your fault." And everybody cheers. And nobody says, hey, wait, you're the president. Nobody says, wait a second. Hey, you're the president. You're not like a random person that they've decided to report on. You have the most powerful platform in the world. Instead, people say, New York Times, less than Fox News or whatever. Sorry, I get my greater than and less than signs like mixed up. Like the greater than, like the opening goes towards like the bigger one. Okay, you know. You guys, no. The idea that the quote unquote progressives, the liberal party does not understand that a weak media is horrible for democracy. You can't want a strong democracy and want a weak media, you guys. That does not mean that there are not legitimate criticisms of quote unquote corporate media, as Bernie Sanders would say. Now, it's funny in the New Yorker when Bernie Sanders talks about corporate media and he's giving a Q&A to Condé Nast owned the New Yorker, and he just published an op-ed in the New York Times. Now that's funny to me, okay? That's funny to me. But if you want to live in a robust democracy, we cannot have a government or governmental institutions that are not rigorously and regularly checked by a well-funded media. Come on, it's Democracy 101. I cannot tell you how horrified I have been. You know how easily Biden could have, if Biden was upset about the reporting in the New Yorker or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post or ProPublica or right? He could have given a news conference every single day. People's literal job is to follow him around every single day. He could have done that. He didn't because he couldn't. And that's not the media's fault. The reporting about everything that's been happening in politics is crazy. Deep, layered, complex, intricate, detailed. It's there. But as I mentioned last week, I'm one of 30,000 people in the United States who reads the newspaper every day. But that's still important. The consequences of political actors conveniently and cynically eroding people's faith in the media is literally deadly. Right? Eroding people's faith in these institutions that we trust to disseminate information. It is fact-checked. There is follow-up. There are modes and mechanisms of accountability. Does that mean that they get it right all the time? No, of course not. When they get it wrong, we call them out on it, but we don't say media is useless, media is stupid, media serves no place in a democracy. What are you saying? And if you feel like the problem is that the power of mainstream media or whatever is too consolidated, it's too centralized in the hands of these 5 big newspapers, then you say, what do we need to do to create a system that robustly funds smaller publications, different kinds of publications? But it's not media is dumb. Look, there's a reason why at the height of COVID, Republicans were much more likely to die of COVID, much less likely to be vaccinated, because Donald Trump and Republicans were systematically and intentionally eroding people's faith in journalistic institutions, in experts, in expertise. This is not just about who is going to win an election. This is literally about who is going to live or die. That's why I've been so pissed off. I've been so pissed off at the institutional Democratic Party. I've been so pissed off at the Biden administration because the effects of this are going to extend way beyond 2024, way beyond 2028. You have given people license to say, here are numbers. I don't believe those numbers. What's the next set of numbers? What's the next set of numbers? I might believe those. Dude, look, we're a civilization in decline.